Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Dig Perspectives, which is a series of interviews in which we talk to all the smart and amazing people we have at our market research consultancy called Dig Insights. We cover a variety of topics which are related to research, consumer insights, business, and more. And this time we're joined by Brad Klippenstein, who is a vice president at Dig Insights. Brad is a super experienced insight professional and a really smart guy who has been working at Dig to build specialized research solutions for different innovation needs, and which is why we invited Brad today to talk about his work. Welcome, Brad. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Lennar, and thanks for the kind words.
Awesome. Let's start with the first question. Why don't you tell about yourself, where you worked before, what you do at Dig right now, just like a brief overview.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the insights field for about 20 years, and most recently I was at Canadian Tire for about 10 years. My focus there was actually on developing out a SaaS platform and reporting to kind of automate insights and recommendations. The work was also supported by standardizing a consultant practice so that we could take our insights and recommendations out at scale to all the associate dealers across Canada.
Okay. And what is your role right now? Like, why did you join Dig? What kind of was the main job description, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I joined Dig because of the culture of the company. I was really excited about it, and my focus at Dig is actually on automation and standardization. I'm really working to build out standardized research methodologies that will enable our research consultants to work more efficiently and empower our upside clients to confidently conduct their own research.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And so now that we started kind of touching on those like automated solutions and standardized kind of solutions, like what is your um, comment on that topic? Because like we've seen a huge growth of those types of solutions, and like Upside is also one of them, which is also an insights innovation platform created by Dig. So why do you think that happened?
Yeah, and it's a very good question, and I've been thinking about it for a while. Throughout my career within research, I've seen different attempts at automation, and I think we're at a place now where the knowledge, technology, and the understanding of how to apply it are at a place where it's really helping the pace of automation to accelerate. So those kind of factors combined, I think, is why we're seeing the explosion in automation that we are.
And do you think there is like a specific business need? Is it something about like them being maybe faster, or maybe there is like a specialized thing that maybe many brands have been trying to achieve?
I think our clients have always wanted answers faster. We just haven't been able to do it in a scalable way, a scalable and rigorous way.
Hmm. Okay. And what was the solution to that? So with an example of something like the solutions that you are building right now, what is your role in that, and what have you been doing?
Yeah, so the work that I do in a very simple way is focusing on minimizing and simplifying the steps that are required to complete a task. So I look at the whole research process from beginning to end, and I'm building out materials that reduce the number of steps or simplify the steps that our research consultants need to take to get things done. So this is where standardizing the methodologies becomes quite powerful because I'm working to create templates where I can cut down the time required by 50% or more to complete tasks.
Hmm. And like, what does it entail? Is it like specific tasks for different use cases, or is this something that maybe you're kind of doing those templates, but like in a more, how do I say it? Like, because like different businesses different business have different needs, and
Mhm.
what is like, how do you kind of make sure that you're like tackling all those needs?
Yeah, so in terms of tackling the needs, we're looking to build out different types of standardized methodologies to cover off testing new products, new packaging, names, claims or benefits that products can make, a whole host of things that really support innovation. Um, that's kind of what we're doing at a high level, but at a very low level, in terms of very tactical tasks, just making sure that people know exactly what needs to be updated in the documents. So pointing them out with highlighting. So, very strategic to very tactical, thinking about all of that and everything in between to simplify the process.
Mhm. And do you think this is just like kind of like an follow-up question to that? Do you think that your experience previously, like in Canadian Tire and like all those kind of experience working with clients, basically, do you think they have helped you to kind of build those kind of solutions in different ways, or was this something more like you talk to clients right now and you're like checking their needs?
I would say the experience definitely supports it, kind of within work as well as life. I really try to kind of simplify things, minimize effort to get things done. So even in my personal life, I have a lot of routines and practices just to make my life a little bit easier. So all of that kind of combined helps me to think about the solutions that we're building out in a lot of different ways.
Awesome. And how, like, I mean, we've kind of talked about it already that like there are many brands that, sorry, many research, market research platforms that are kind of popping up everywhere. Like, how are maybe the solutions that you're building right now are different? And how do you make sure that you are basically not doing the same thing as like any other platform?
Yeah, great question. And I would say that our solutions are different in a few ways. We are actually asking different questions, and we're asking questions in different ways and getting at different areas of questions. So as a result, our survey experience for respondents feels a little bit more like social media. And this is going to lead to um, better engagement and more accurate data.
Okay,
Um,
and yeah, continue.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of you said something about like social media. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, and just in terms of how people communicate, but there's social media platforms that use swiping as the kind of the primary form of interaction, and we've built that into our survey experience. And in terms of communication today, a lot of people use emojis, and we're building that into our surveys and the way that we ask questions so that it becomes a bit of a different experience. We're not just looking at only text and words, we're looking at some images and color.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that type of, because like I've been like, of course, like we work together and like I've been using those solutions myself for like different marketing studies, and I was just like wondering, what is the impact that it has in a way that like those the use of like the swiping and the use of like emoji questions, and like they look cool, but at the
Mhm.
same time I'm just like genuinely like curious, how do you capture the true like respondent uh, how do I say it, like reactions or like emotions in that way, like just like even just thinking about like the emoji question itself.
Yeah, the emoji question is a really good example. In the past, research companies, when they've attempted to understand emotions, have just shown respondents words. And
Mhm.
we often say, and there's a cliche, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So when we're actually showing the emojis, people can better relate to what it represents. So they can see the word and the image to really know if that kind of represents how they feel about something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know that you're also like tying it to different, how do I say it? Like in a way, you're tying it to the way that people respond to their like motivations as well. Could you talk about that? Because I know that like some of the questions and, for example, the solutions are also kind of mentioning the motivations that people have. Like, how do you tie in back to like the actual research rather than just like simply capturing like something like emojis?
Yeah, in regards to the motivations, we're really trying to understand um, who consumers think, whether it's a product or a package or a claim, benefit, whatever it is, who do they think it's for?
Mhm.
So it's a bit of a different technique to get um, at the target consumer
Mhm.
indirectly. So they kind of take themselves out of it and think about who is this for rather than what do I think about it. So it can be a very powerful technique to understand how products designs will appeal to the broader market.
Awesome. Okay. And just like thinking broadly, do you think that this need for like automated solutions, do you think it's still going to be kind of growing in the future? Or do you think that something new is going to happen, you know, like AI and like whatever else is like being built right now? Do you think that something is going to be like the next kind of automated solution thing?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, especially coming from an environment where we were working with a lot of data. Um, to really support AI, you have to have lots and lots and lots of data. And marketing research typically doesn't really approach the levels of data needed to train AI models. Um, so I don't know, when that type of advancement might take place. But it is an interesting question because within research, while we do want to automate, I feel like it's also very important that there's still human interaction in that you can get data, but you still need to interpret the results. And that's
Mhm.
where context really, really matters in understanding the different research techniques that are being applied can lead to different insights and decisions.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for answering all those questions and just like explaining the all those solutions. I was just like generally interested in like the things that we're building right now because like I feel like Upside is evolving like every quarter, if not like every month. So, and I've seen that you're like right now building different solutions for like flavor testing and as well as like claims and package testing. So yeah, I'm just really glad to see all like this progress happening.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. A lot of great development from the Upside platform.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brad. It was really great to talk to you. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Lunar.
Thank you.